Well, it appears that there's more trouble for Sekondi-Takoradi Metropolitan Chief Executive, who's already facing charges of assault of public officer and offensive conduct. This afternoon, he's been suspended, but the Chamber of Local Governance wants him completely dismissed. This afternoon, he was suspended by the local government ministry shortly after his court appearance, where he pleaded not guilty to 3 charges. Mr. Issa was arrested on Thursday for allegedly driving dangerously towards a police checkpoint.
You'll be detained for this. Attempted to knock a police inspector down.
Attempted to do what?
You wait. You and you are saying I should know the car before you refuse to. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Good. I will not insult you. I'm a professional police officer. I will not insult you. But we will teach you a lesson.
You don't know whom you are dealing with. You can't beg him tomorrow. You insult me whatever you can. I'll send you 20.
It's a place. Police are working there.
Yeah.
Transfer is not punishment in police.
Okay.
Transfer is not punishment in police.
Don't worry.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Transfer is not punishment.
Do what you want to do.
Can't transfer me to Palugu wherever. My colleagues are there working happily.
Do you want to do.
So what are you telling my colleagues who are attention?
No.
Yeah, human being and human being are staying attention. Same human being who voted for you. Same human being who voted for you. They are working there.
You are lucky I'm not in my...
in your hut?
No, it's okay.
You are not in your hut.
All right.
You don't know the person you are talking.
Don't mind him.
And Honorable is telling police two things. Honorable, just this morning, a colleague of ours was knocked down. You heard the news. And you didn't follow the queue. My brother, why didn't you follow the queue? And he wanted to knock me down.
But don't you know?
He wanted to knock me down. I should get away for him to go. Now you don't know this guy and say, oh, Honorable, should I know the guy before you knock me down? And you're telling the police, stupid. Police officer, stupid. I should know him before I put him in order. My brother, why didn't you follow the queue? And don't you know this car? And I said, oh, I should know this car before you knock me down. Just this morning, a colleague of us was knocked down. Just this morning.
The checkpoint was
the same mistake. Just follow the queue. You are not in a convoy. You are not in a convoy. Just follow the queue.
I'm not in a convoy. So if I've seen there's a space open,
yes,
and there's so much traffic, don't I have the right to choose?
What right do you have? You don't have any right. Just follow as your colleagues are following. They are human beings like you. Just follow.
Oh, okay.
Just follow.
You see?
He can order.
This is security reasons. Security matters.
Not to you.
Security
Not
matters.
to you.
He can never order.
Hey. He can order you because
he can never order me.
If there's much,
my regional commander can order.
I'm not saying he's order you. You can talk to your boss.
Look here.
He can talk to your boss. He can talk to you.
My brother, you say you will transfer me to NJ.
I'm talking to you.
Let them come and I'll change the situation by
you can't change my situation. You can never change my situation. You can never change my situation.
I will.
And don't think transfer is a punishment. Yes.
Don't worry.
Wherever there is a police station, when you are being sent there, it's not a punishment. Transfer is not a punishment. Let me tell you. There are people over there working, and they are human beings staying wherever you want to transfer me. And you are not a police officer to transfer me. Ugly guy. Hey, Honorable. Be careful of your choice of words.
You are nice and handsome.
Yes,
and I said you are ugly.
You can snap again. You can snap again.
Ugly.
I'm ugly.
Yes.
You can insult me whatever you can. You can insult and insult.
I say you are.
I'm a professional police officer. I will never insult you. Yes.
And I say you are ugly.
And you can take the picture more and video.
Don't worry.
You can take the pictures and video.
Don't worry.
Well, so just gone by was the MCE reportedly recorded issuing threats to transfer the arresting officer who he described as ugly, responding to the charges leveled against him before the Takoradi Court A. The MCE said he was not guilty. And we have excerpts of the letter suspending the MCE. The Metropolitan Chief Executive for Sekondi-Takoradi Assembly, Mr. Abdul Mumin Issa, has been suspended from office with immediate effect pending an inquiry into his encounter with the police on February 3, 2022. Without prejudice to the matter now before court, government takes a very dim view of the comments made by the Metropolitan Chief Executive during his exchanges with the police. And these are all part of the excerpts of the statement. It goes ahead to say that the comments by the Chief Executive ran contrary to the government's belief and work to ensure that our security agencies and indeed public agencies are resourced, empowered, and accorded the respect to deliver on their mandates. Now, in the interim, the Honorable Western Regional Minister, that's Kwabena Treda-Mensah, has been assigned additional supervisory authority over the Sekondi-Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly. So that's the position of the local government ministry on this matter, asking that the MCE, for the mayor actually, for the area be suspended. But we can now have a conversation on this matter. This afternoon, joining me via Zoom is the president of the Chamber for Local Governance, Dr. Richard Fiadumo. They are calling for the total dismissal of the executive. We could just speak to Dr. Richard Fiadumo to have more explanations on this matter. Good afternoon to you, sir. Welcome to the polls. First off, is it not enough for us to have a suspension rather than for you to call for the total dismissal of the MCE?
Thank you very much, and greetings to all your cherished listeners and viewers. I think that we are questioning the president's mandate or authority to suspend a metropolitan or district chief executive. The president doesn't have that local standard to suspend a chief executive. What do you think the president can do under the circumstance is to sack the chief executive. Once a president nominates a chief executive, the assembly confirms. Once the assembly confirms a chief executive, that chief executive now becomes a member of the assembly. So it is only the General Assembly of STMA that can meet and suspend the chief executive on stated grounds, but the president doesn't have the local standard to suspend the chief executive.
So what you mean to say at this point is that the president has two options, either to fire or to hire, or to nominate, if that's the point?
Yes, the only option, Article 2431 of Ghana's Constitution is clear, that the president should nominate. When the president nominates, the assembly members by two-thirds majority present and voting will confirm. So immediately a chief executive is confirmed, he now becomes a bona fide member of the assembly. So if the chief executive does something, there are four ways in which the chief executive can be removed. Number one, the president can revoke the appointment of the chief executive. Number two, the chief executive can resign. Number three, the chief executive, if unfortunately dies, he leaves the position. And number four, the General Assembly by two-thirds majority can remove the chief executive from office. So the president, having nominated and the assembly members confirming the nominee, the president doesn't have control over whether he can be suspended or not. That is in the bosom of the assembly. But the president, the constitution can sack or revoke that.
How do you react to claims that your call is not in line with due diligence? This may prejudice. Bring the issues of prejudice up again. The MCE is already under some level of investigation. Why not allow that process to be exhausted before his dismissal? And that was pointed out in the statement or the letter communicating his suspension.
Yeah, that's why what we are saying is that the General Assembly should be the one doing the suspension and not the president. The president, the only powers he has under 1992 Constitution and Act 936 is to either nominate and also revoke or sack the MDC.
I'm sorry for cutting in. This statement is coming through from the Ministry of Local Governance. Administratively speaking, all of these MCs and DCEs fall under that ministry. In terms of administrative powers, it appears that the ministry has some supervisory role over the local authorities.
Thank you very much. We are working with laws in this country. We have an act that governs the local governance sector. And we are saying that, yes, the conduct of the regional minister is very highly reprehensible, and the president is supposed to take action. So it's two things. Either the president is quiet on the matter and allow the judicial process to go on, or the president can sack the MMDCE concerned. That is all that we are saying. But if it comes to suspension, the nominee, or I would say the MCE, is a member of the STMA General Assembly. And it is only the General Assembly that can meet and suspend the Chief Executive on stated grounds until such a time that the substantive matter is determined. But for the local government minister to purport to suspend the Chief Executive, we are saying that the President doesn't have no good standard to do that. And it's an illegality, and that letter is supposed to be a nullity in itself.
Now, I'm aware that the Chamber for Local Governance has been analyzing this particular video, and you've been listening to excerpts of the tape that was recorded, capturing the threats that the MCE was issuing to the arresting officer. What's your final position on this? Having reviewed it, has your mind changed about your call for his total dismissal? Have you changed your position, having listened to the altercation between the two parties?
No, we have not changed our position. It's even surprising that the president will not remove this errant chief executive from office, and you are talking about suspension. This is somebody who, per the act, is the chairman of the MUSEC. So if you are taking police people are the ones giving you intelligence information for you to be chairman of the Security Council, how on earth do you even meet and treat a policeman like that, even in the public? So for me,
it appears that we're still having some challenges with the alliance to Dr. Richard Fiarimo. We'll still be working around the clock to bring Doc back. But let's speak to our regional correspondent monitoring this issue for us. Natalia Kwanzaa is on phone with us. So, Ina, fill us in. What's the latest right now in respect of the case involving the MCE?
Well, he has been granted bail just like the court has given. And so now I am sure he is with his family, because before leaving the court, he was drove out by the officials from the Sekondi-Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly. So that's the latest from the region. With regards to his suspension and all that, no one in the region has made any official comment on it.
How about the reaction of residents in the area? How are they taking the news that having to know that the MCE himself is involved allegedly in such an act?
Yes, residents would not want to go on record with this, but whilst you walk through town, you can hear the conversation. Some of them saying that they think the MCE went too far. For some of them who know him so well, they feel that this is rather unfortunate, because they don't know him to be that kind of a person. So these are some of the conversations going on in town. But just like I said earlier, when you approach them to go on record, they don't want to. Reasons best known to them. So it's one of the conversations in the town, apart from the Apiafi issue that came in some few weeks ago. The MCE zone is another one that this morning, even at the court premises, because you see a lot of people came to the court, sympathizers, a cross section of the MPP members in the region, MCEs from, I think, 5 municipal and district assemblies in the western region here, and then officers from the Sekondi-Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly. So this is what it has been.
And we know that the MCE involved here has pleaded not guilty to the charges. What more are we hearing from the lawyers?
Well, his lawyer has refused to comment or make any statements on this.
But how about the atmosphere at the time the proceedings were about starting? What was the look on the face of the MCE?
So with the video we had, you can see him, there's a black saloon car which drove into the premises of the Circuit Court A here in the western region. And then he came out in a brown kaftan, very quiet, calm, went straight to his lawyer Kofi Agbeta, and then the presiding member for the Sekondi-Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly. Immediately they walked inside the courtroom. He sat there quietly till he was called in to the box, and then when his charges were read against him, the only words he could utter was not guilty throughout. For the first case, 2 cases were brought against him today. So the first case, 3 charges where he pleaded not guilty to all. So when that was done, that was when his lawyer came in, and then he pleaded with the judge, His Worship Michael Kojo Ampedu that all these offences are bailable, so he thinks that his client should be given a bail. And so that's basically it. But before he was even given the bail of 100,000 with 3 sureties, the judge gave a caution. He said that his court will not deal lenient with anyone that interferes with the work of security agencies. And he also said he was disappointed that the MCE was brought to court not because he is guilty, but to be involved in such a case. He thinks that the MCE should have not been there in the first place. And he said that for him, if you should be brought to the court, to his court, that is the Takoradi Circuit Court A, irrespective of who you are, the law must take its place.
Natalia, just before we let you go, the Western Regional Minister has been authorized by the local government ministry to now act as the MCE for the area. Any sight of him around acting already?
No, the Western Regional Minister has not spoken yet. Personally, I've not been to the STMA after the court proceedings, but on Monday, I would go there and then check, because tomorrow they will not be working, but on Monday, I will go over there and check. And in case the regional minister makes any statement to that effect, sure, we'll bring it to our viewers.
Natalia Kwanzaa there, bringing us the latest from the Western region.